Hello everybody, welcome to another video and welcome to ULC or Undertale Corridor. Today I'm going to be showcasing every single sans from 1 to 100 wins. First we have Tail. He's got a very simple bone rush which is very inaccurate. A blaster which does about 20 damage which also fires itself afterwards. A bone jump which is pretty weak. One bonus which takes forever to activate, a little force, and blue souls. So force and blue souls also have like a time limit together, which is pretty annoying about the character, but he's okay. Doesn't do a lot. The blaster jumping does, I don't know how much that does. We stand still. Walking with the blaster. I want to see how much damage it does. He's about 6 damage. He's okay. He's not the best player. He's definitely your weakest sans here. On to the next one. Next we have Pacifist Sans. It's got a simple bone rush. He's arguably better because the middle tail, his bone zone's okay. He's got blue souls, a bone chop, no gas blaster though, and he's got a bone. This does a lot of damage. Don't get hit by it. I think it does percentage damage, and if I just spam moves, this ketchup restores about your 10% of your stamina, I think, or more. You also can go over your max amount with the ketchup. Pretty much Pacifist Sans. He does have a few upgrades that I don't have, but that's Pacifist Sans for you. Okay, there you go. You ready? So first he has dual blasters, which. So here's how the dual blasters work. They originally could turn into either a blue, basically a justice blaster, a yellow, or blue one. With this further upgrades, they only turn into white blasters and sometimes go to different colors. And they also explode, dealing heavy amounts of damage. The laser ball, it can either go blue, or orange. Orange is a special case as no one takes damage from it, but they do push away. Well, that's what they usually do. Mini 5 MMTs that 5 little mini bots fall from the sky and they fire little white circles of damage. It does about 5 damage per shot. Bone Rush is your standard Bone Rush. And Alchemy is very cool. So, if I just use a lot of moves here, basically Science boosts faster is a lot more different from anyone. This guy can either give himself a buff. Science Boost Flask increases stamina regeneration. There is also a Science, well, I just pulled this one. You also can go over your limit with the Science Boost Flask, so you could basically get to 200. So it is very useful having the Science Boost Flask, which is your second upgrade, I think. Another one is a Science Acid Flask, which I'm pretty sure does damage. There's about 6 damage of HP, and then there's another one which is called the Slow Acid Flask, which by the name is pretty obvious. Slows down. Science Slowness, which obviously slows down any risk in the path. Well, on to the next one. Next we have Papyrus. He is arguably, it's either Science or Papyrus, you can choose. I prefer Science since he's got more versatility. Papyrus has a bone gap, which is very strong actually. He also works like every other person here. Blue Soul, which just stops the person from jumping. Bone Soul, which is actually really good. It's really fast regeneration, and it can either go from blue to yellow to white, which I don't really like. This is definitely a good store move. It's one of the strongest moves in this kit, and bones are just bones. And this is pretty much his whole moveset. Papyrus is very strong, with the bone gaps being definitely your best sort of damage. Anyway, on to the next one. And bullshit. This negative tail sans, to be honest, he's actually okay. He's not terrible. That's for sure. He's got a negative force, which is pretty strong. A normal blaster, which is definitely don't use this unless they're at really long range, because this is really bad. He does start off with a lot of stamina though. You have his negative rotate, which is basically a bone rush. Negative zone, which is okay. It recharges really quickly though. And you also have another storm move, a negative spinner. This is definitely his best move by far. Doesn't do the best damage, but it's definitely one of his strongest moves. With the bone zone, you can very much cap with them. But that's negative sands. I never really played this guy a lot, but he's okay. Stamina rate also is stuck at 25, I think. Never mind. It's just a bit glitchy at the moment. Well, on to the next one. Next we have Classic Sans. It's a bit weird because they changed up basically his whole moveset to like pictures, which is definitely a bit odd, but first he has his Gaster Blaster, which is normal Gaster Blaster. All this applies Karma to anyone, I'm pretty sure. Hold on. The Sideburns never use this move. This move is absolutely garbage. Is it even activated? I don't know. That's it. Those are your Sideburns. These are definitely your weakest moves out of this guy. Don't use them. It's not worth it. You have the Bone Jump. Also, every move applies Karma. Bone Jumps are definitely your best move for damage. Bone Zone, which is just a simple Bone Zone. You have a Bone Rush. And that's pretty much with this character. He also has a normal force, but that's pretty much. Now, he has a phase 2. Hold on. He has a phase 2, which is arguably definitely his really good asset of him. Look at phase 2. So he starts with 110 stamina. He's got his normal force, which is a tiny bit stronger. Bone Jumps, which have a little bit more of a challenge to them because they start having more extra to them, like having a blue bone come right after. He's got his Bone Sliders. The Bone Sliders are really strong because they come very fast. He's got his Bone, which is a lot better than his first one. But the problem with this is that everything has a really long cooldown, with Gas Blasters being really your only defensive option for the cooldown rate. Now, Gas Blaster starts with 2 big Gas Blasters and then just spams a whole lot of Gas Blasters out of your opponent. This is definitely your best move for him, but again, everything has a long cooldown, so it's very hard to win it with phase 2. But his damage output is very high. And that's classic. On to the next one. This is Underswap Papyrus. He's arguably, he's a bit more because he's a lot more tactical than your normal Sans, as his passes are an Instant Rock, which usually spawning 1 to 4. Bone Toss, which is your normal Bone Zone. A Bone Weight, which is definitely your best camping move, as they are very strong, and if you step on them, you will probably die. And a Spin Bone, which is your AoE move like Sans' other moves, and that's it. He's okay. It's not the best, but he's okay. It's pretty good. But that's Underswap for you. Next is undertale Sans. He's got a lot of moves, with the first one being Triple Gaster Blaster, which when you get hit, your screen has a little bit of dust on it. Next is a Big Star, which fires 4 different stars, with little mini stars coming out of 5 and the Asteroid is next, but some of the big Asteroid, which is definitely his most powerful move. 4 Pink Bones, which are pretty average. I don't recommend using this move unless at the very start of the fight. Gravitational Field, which stops them from moving, and Big Starfish Change, where stars come from the side instead of from above. And Spinning Stars, which is basically 2 stars that go around in a circle firing up little mini stars. Now, this guy actually has a phase 2, which I gotta say is very powerful. It is mostly used for 1 win, so for 100 wins, which is why it's a very hard phase to get. You know, I'm gonna try and use moves to make it a lot faster. So I'm almost at phase 2. Oh god, just be careful. Almost at phase 2. Yep, 21 more. Okay, phase 2 now. Phase 2 is a lot more broken, with everything past triple bass and falling bones being extremely buffed. First is your falling bones, which appear a lot more faster with a lot more bigger explosions. These are definitely a lot more worth to use because they take a lot more time, but they're a lot more effective at dealing passive damage. Triple gas blasts are the next, which recharge a lot more quicker and they fire a lot more quicker. You next have Big Star, which summons 5 big stars with So that's how powerful his phase is. It's very strong. So I'm gonna quickly pause the video here and choose what other movie Supernova. So it should appear right now. What his moveset is like this. It's got Supernova, which is a big star that falls down. It's basically like asteroid. But instead of one star falling down, multiple asteroids fall down from the sky and deal a heavy amount of damage. The other move was Spinning Stars, which is basically 4 different stars, 2 big and 2 small stars, in a diamond formation, which go into a circle and just fire little mini stars out of them. That is pretty much undertale. So here we have Undertale. To be honest, one of the most, I'm so tired of seeing him, but this is Undertale. He recently got buffed, and here are his moves. Double Blasters, which is just 2 blasters, which you can use twice actually. Bell Rush, which is basically just a bone rush. Bone Zone, which is a bone zone. Colored Bones, which appear from each side of the arena, or that side, blue, orange, and that's pretty much it. There should be more. Blue Spinner Bones, which appear from either side of the arena. This is definitely Bell's best move for passive damage, as they are very strong, and they appear a lot of the time. And then Force is Force. And yeah, that's pretty much Bell. He does have a final attack, which I'm going to try and decrease my stuff down to. But the final attack is pretty strong. The final attack is definitely his only real part about his moveset, which is really good. But it's very strong. And it's got a very neat little buff thing where it's definitely the best. Undertale is arguably your best sans for early win servers because that last attack is definitely going to be able to kill lots of people. And most of them don't drain too much stamina, just him being. So double passes are definitely your best damage options, or best damage option. Bell Rush is okay, definitely dealing the most basic damage with double passes applying combo action. Blue Spinner and Colored Bones are both very good moves for the start of the battle and just throughout, as they're both very strong. Alright, almost to his final attack. Okay, this is his final attack, where you cannot move and he just fires a flurry of Bell Bones, which also appear the other way. It goes into a formation like the Undertale Sans final attack. After that, he summons a circle that's going to get faster and faster over time. This is definitely one of the coolest final attacks for a character, as he really deserves this. He also almost damaged 100,000. He's definitely one of your best characters for your early servers due to the fact that it's so devastating. This place you don't know what it does. That's Undertale. Next you have is Last Breath Sans. He first started with a dual white blaster, a bone thrower, which also summons little colored bones on the side. That could be a passive. Sliders, which is basically the classic Sans of Sliders, but just a lot more better. Your colored bones, which appear like every other Sans of the Sans that has the same ability. Force, and Auto Blasters, which home on any opponent and will spawn at least 6 Dagasta blasters on them. This is definitely his best move for just damage output, and that's pretty much Last Breath. I don't have a second phase, however, but that's Last Breath for you. Next is Disbelief Papyrus. One of the most situational Sans of the game, and to be honest, he's got the most potential to be really good. Disbelief Blaster, just your normal Disbelief Blaster. This can be spammed a lot. Spinning Bone is a 4-cross bone that changes from orange to white to blue over time. Bone Slash, never use this. This is terrible. Because no one's ever going to get hit by this. It does a lot of damage, however, but it's very unlikely. Disbelief Balloons is basically classic Sans' colored bones and Blaster Barrage. And it's lagging. Well, that sucks. Just wasn't my whole move. Next here is a block, which when activated doesn't refuse it, which doesn't take you any damage, but you lose about 8 of your stamina. This is definitely the most situation move, as it can roll up a lot of people, but it's got a very low cooldown. Next is Blaster Barrage, which is just basically, you can summon so many blasters with that. 8, and that's pretty much Disbelief. Next is Distrust Sans. This is a Sans that has to be unlocked through 75 wins, and a special badge which is only obtained from single player mode. First, this is Distrust Blaster, which even though it's blue, will hit any person. Distrust Spinning Bone, which is a bone that fires little bones out in a circle formation. Colored War Bones, which is a colored bone attack, which summons 2 little bones to the side. Colored Bone Rush, which is Colored Bone Rush. He also has a same block as Disbelief Pirates, where if you block it, you will take no damage, but you will lose a lot of stamina. Next attack is his special attack, which is a barrage of blue and orange bones from both sides. This is definitely a move you should probably use as soon as the round starts, because of where it starts. It starts from both ends of the arena. This could also give Distrust the ability to start combing his moves, like Colored Bone War, as I have to take damage no matter where they go. That's pretty much Distrust for you. Next is Dust Swap Papyrus, definitely one of the better Sanses of your first 100 wins. First is his Blaster, which is an auto-lock blaster, which summons 4 to 5 on your cursor. Bone Wave is definitely the move that you definitely is your camping move, as it's very long and it does a lot of damage to people. Gatling Blaster is a single blaster, which can be spammed and can appear in 1, 2, and 3. But this ultimately leads to having a 30-second cooldown. Next is your Spinning Bone, which is a bone that spins, and then after a certain period of time, it then splits into 4 flying bones that go into a circle pattern 3 times. Orange Soul is Orange Soul. Your player has to move, otherwise they take passive damage. And that is Dust Swapper. Next is Hardtail Sans. So, this is definitely a very powerful Sans, as he's got a lot of moves that you can use. So, first is, let's start with Fire Grapple. Fire Grapple is basically charges up and he springs forward. If you grab someone, you will throw them and it will just deal like 20 damage. Dual Blasters are your normal Dual Blasters, which is a quick little blaster that either fires a little beam or Giant Punch is a giant punch of fire, which does a lot of damage. Weapon Ghost is where he will take one weapon and it will actually passively attack you for Hardtail Sans. You also can punch him in this phase, or when he does this. This does no damage to him and it doesn't do with stamina. When the move is over, he will then have to pick it up. This is Hard Counter, and Hard Counter says he's got a little frame window where he will counter you. Uppercut is uppercut where he will uppercut you. That's in here. So let's try Hard Counter. Now. So it does about 10 damage and it makes the person small. Doesn't really do anything, but it's a cool counter to have. It's about 10 HP. Uppercut is an uppercut which uppercuts them. Giant Crush is where a little exclamation will appear and a giant hand will smash them. This also in turn after the move, if it hits someone, will fire a flurry of fire bombs, which do a lot of damage. Fire Grapple is Fire Grapple to show that. Now, Blaster Ride. definitely your best move, as if it gets to, well, you have a white move which fires on the cross and does about 10 HP. Blast and explode, where it explodes. That's pretty much hard shell for you. So next is Dust Sands. This is who you unlock at level 100, and he's got a force. Stolen Fire. Stolen Fire is definitely your strongest move, as it fires little fireballs, which do a lot of damage. Next is Dusty Zones, which summons a barrage of bone zones all around the place. Dust Toy Knife is a move which fires a little slash. Does about 6 to 7 HP. Dusted Rush is like a bone rush, basically. And Gas Blasters. Very strong, as they do about 20 HP per shot. Stolen Fire is definitely your best move, and it does about 8 HP per hit anytime the wall. That's pretty much Dust Sands. Level 100, your final character. Not very strong, but if you get him to Waterfall and above, he's definitely one of your best. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed.